So I'd like to ask you a question, or possibly two, depending on how this video goes. Now, I created a piece of music which I called The Loneliness of the Long Distance Voyager, and it was intended to evoke and depict the vastness and emptiness and loneliness of space, of the distance between planets and distance between stars, and perhaps being in that space 20 million light years from home, and just how lonely it was. So to my mind, this was a piece of space ambient music. So the music was complete, the video was complete before I upload it to YouTube. Now it will be up by the time you watch this, so I will leave a card up there and a link of course in the description. But before I did that, I thought it would be interesting to see what other sort of space ambient pieces other people have produced. So I put space ambient into YouTube and I got a massive list of results. Most of them, however, tended to fall into what I would call the relaxation category. Now, a lot of them had a spacey type of backdrops, and some suggested you were going on a cosmic journey. Some had little descriptions about meeting an alien race, or suggested you were in the cockpit of your spaceship relaxing. But the essence was that you would listen to these pieces of music and perhaps watch the videos and relax. And that, I think, is one of the main uses of ambient music. There was also another type of music in the space ambient category, and this was essentially just noise in its various shades, various frequencies of noise, such as pink noise and brown noise. And these were intended again for relaxation, for background noises, for contemplation, for study, and also for sleep. Some of these videos lasted for 10 hours, so you could put them on and go to sleep to them. There is actually a channel called Space Ambient. Now, this sort of threw me, I have to say, because if this sort of music was space music, what sort of music was my Voyager piece? So I did a bit more digging, and I had to come to the conclusion that as far as ambient categories go, this was probably closer to industrial or dark ambient than space ambient. However, I would certainly not classify it as either, because I don't think it's dark. That is not its intention. It's just supposed to evoke a sense of space, perhaps a little bit of a spaceshipy feel to it. There are teeny little bits of melody, music elements floating throughout it. So I have to say I wouldn't be happy with an industrial or dark ambient tag. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, what the heck difference does it make what it's called? And in one sense, you would be right. But as humans, we do like to categorize things. It helps us make sense of the disorder and chaos in the world and the universe in which we live. It's also very useful if you're talking to other people about certain things, or if you want to listen to a certain type of music, you can say, Alexa, play some trance.
The station trance on Amazon Music.
So I don't know if you heard Alexa come on there, but remember, Alexa is always listening. So being able to categorize music in this way helps us to enjoy the sort of music that we want to listen to. Also, if I put this up on YouTube, I don't want people to look at the category and listen to it and think, well, that's not space music. So it doesn't help anyone to miscategorize it. But I have to say, a bit stuck about what sort of category it might fall into. Now, if we look at ambient in its broadest sense, the name was first coined by Brian Eno, famously, I think around 1978, when he released his Music for AirPods album. And it's generally accepted as being music which is as easy to listen to as it is to ignore. It's music you can play in the background, you can tune into it if you want, but you can also tune out. It is not particularly intrusive. And so ambient music in this sense is ideal for relaxation and study and so on. So since then, over the years, various aspects of ambient music have been adopted and adapted by other music genres. So you get ambient dub and ambient house and ambient pop and ambient techno. So I was researching all these subgenres of ambient and I still couldn't find where it might fit. Perhaps I'm just not very good at using Google. So my Voyager piece definitely fits into the ambient category, but one of my questions to you is, what subcategory of ambient does it fit into? Now, I think initially, at least when I upload this to YouTube, I am probably just going to call it a spacescape. Now, I have looked up a spacescape on YouTube and I get the same sort of results as I got for space ambient. I've also discovered that Spacescape is a sort of programming plugin for creating 3D spaces and a gaming engine. So most of the music I produce is what I would call electronic music, and that is a vast umbrella, I guess, into which many different types of music can sit. Now, to me, electronic music suggests it's been made with synthesizers. I'm quite happy with that. So I guess another question to you is, if you hear the term electronic music, what sort of music do you expect? When I hear the term electronic music, I tend to think of groups like Tangerine Dream and musicians like Jean-Michel Jarre, Kraftwerk, Vangelis, and so on. So if you can think of a sub-genre or a category to put my Voyager piece into, that would be really helpful and really interesting. I am also curious and interested to know what sort of music you expect to hear when you hear the term ambient and also electronic music. So check out my Voyager piece, the link is in the description, and let me know what you think. As always, I really do appreciate you spending time with me, watching my videos and listening to my music. So for that, thank you very much indeed. And the next one is the Voyager piece, so hopefully I will see you there.